Right, so this is going to be a review of whoa, what's loud? That's loud. How loud is it? Oh god, so still too loud. I always get the TV too loud. Anyway, this is a review of Batman Dark Knight Rises, the new Batman film. It is absolutely amazing though, fair play. I mean, the story of it, Batman's been retired for 8 years, and then the villain Bane wreaks havoc onto Gotham, threatening the civilians, and he wants to use a nuclear bomb to blow up Gotham, which is actually a pretty good story. And new characters in this, such as there's still Christian Bale as Batman, and Christian Bale does a really good job as Batman in my opinion. There's Tom Hardy as Bane, and Tom Hardy did a really good job as Bane because they were trying to top Heath Ledger's Joker, and I think Tom Hardy did just that in this film. And as well as that, there was a Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, still Gary Oldman as Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, still Michael Caine as Alfred, Morgan Freeman was still Lucius Fox, and the typical Batman cast that you've come to know and love. And as well as that, Joseph Levitt plays Tom Blake, a young cop in this, so actually does play a big role, because this review does contain spoilers, so if you haven't watched the film, or if you are planning on watching it some time later on in cinema, just don't bother watching this review. But anyway, one of my favourite scenes actually is at the beginning where you first meet Bane, where they are in that plane and they come in with 3 men with black sacks on their heads, and then they kill the first 2 men, and then the guy takes the sack off the 3rd guy's head, and Bane is revealed under the sack. And that was a really good scene actually, when the plane blows up and he says, "What's the next step, your master plan?" and Bane just screams out, "Crashing this plane." And then a load of SWAT guys come in and sort of try and capture Bane, and then Bane's men come in and kill everyone else, and Bane and his men escape. And another one of my favourite scenes as well is when he blows up the football stadium. I mean, that was one of the best special effect scenes I have ever seen in a film before, probably. But it's quite gutting that the Joker wasn't actually in this, but it doesn't really matter, because Bane did a really good job as a villain in this film anyway. I mean, Tom Hardy did a really good job as Bane in this. But anyway, I just loved Bane in this film. I mean, I thought he was actually just as good as Joker. I mean, in this film as well, you get a good glance of who Bruce Wayne really is. I mean, in the last 2 films, ugly Joker there. Anyway, in the last 2 films you get the fake Bruce Wayne, like the playboy millionaire type Bruce Wayne, and in this new film you literally get a glance of what Bruce Wayne is, because he is hiding in his room for 8 years. He doesn't come out of his room for 8 years. I mean, you look at him, he's pale, he's got a gigantic beard. I mean, and they're all saying that he has really long fingernails, and he's in there crying and bleeding and whatever. But actually, Bruce Wayne is pretty emotional in this film. I mean, Alfred is still a much bigger role in this film as well. And Catwoman obviously brings in a lot of the humour in this film. A few scenes that made me laugh. But as well as that, anyway, a few spoilers at the ending. I enjoyed the ending, to be quite honest. The ending was good, and this film brought out the Batman that everyone probably wanted, that I wanted at least anyway. I mean, let me be the first to say that this was the best film I have seen in my life. I just loved this film. The Dark Knight Rises is a really good film. Obviously, this isn't footage of Dark Knight Rises, this is Arkham City, but and this ain't the film either, it's the game. But that's just a cutscene there with Joker. But the ending, the last half an hour of the film was really great actually. They filmed that in New York and Wall Street, the part where all of Bane's men fight all of those cops. And that is an amazing part of the film that I really loved. That was filmed in Wall Street, and the part with the planes actually was filmed in Inverness in Scotland. I actually went there a few years back and I just, liked Inverness, and to be honest, I was really surprised that they actually filmed a part of The Dark Knight in Inverness. Wow. But, anyway, yeah, the part in New York, it's not based in New York, obviously. It's still saying it's in Gotham City, but it's filmed in New York, in Wall Street, and you get a really big fight with Batman and Bane as well. And Bane just physically dominates Batman through this film. I mean, the first time you see these two fight, Bane punches him so hard that his mask falls into pieces. I mean, Bane is a really tough, broad, sort of... He just dominates Batman physically and mentally. I mean, he's a really tough villain. I mean, because in the last two films, if you saw Batman fight Scarecrow, Batman fight Joker, Batman would always win in a fist fight with Joker or Scarecrow, but with Bane, it's a little bit more complicated, because Bane dominates Batman physically and mentally. Bane knows who Batman is as well, which could be a little bit of a problem for Batman in the end, but Bane is just a really good villain in this film. I really enjoyed watching Bane beat people up, and he has a weird obsession with breaking people's necks, and he carries a picture around of Harvey Dent, and he wears that sort of winter type coat, which is really cool. And a really good film. But anyway, at the end, I enjoyed the ending, to be honest. After you see Bane fight Batman, obviously Bane dies. When Catwoman drives him with the bike, she shoots Bane, and then the building falls down on top of Bane. But then, of course, after that, the nuclear bomb is still about to go off. So Batman has this flying gadget that you will be introduced to in the film a lot earlier, like about... In the first 45 minutes, you'll see this new flying gadget that Batman has, a new, like, flying Batmobile type thing. So what he does, he straps a nuclear bomb to this flying device, and then what he does is, well, he flies the nuclear bomb all the way out to sea, about 8 miles away from Gotham City. It blows up, and then, well, pretty much Batman's dead. And then, of course, what happens then after that, Lucius Fox is talking to a few of the men that made the flying type device, and they're saying the autopilot was still on, and they're saying Batman apparently was still alive in this. And then what happens then is what happens earlier on in the film anyway, because Alfred is talking to Bruce Wayne, and he says, I always go to this restaurant on holiday, and I've always imagined you on the other side of the restaurant with a wife and a couple of kids and that. And then at the end, Alfred goes to our restaurant once more, and he sees Bruce Wayne across the restaurant with Selina Kyle, Catwoman. So yeah, this was a really good film actually, and then that's pretty much the end as well. And then Tom Blake actually enters the Batcave, and Tom Blake, the cop, becomes Robin actually, which was another big surprise there. I mean, unexpected, but Chris Nolan has made my favourite trilogy of any. This is the greatest trilogy of all time. These Batman films, Batman Begins, Batman Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises is the best, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't really like Begins at all, but that just got us to know the character Bruce Wayne and Batman. And then there was Dark Knight, where it was really good, but then I enjoyed Dark Knight Rises a lot more. I would give this film a 10 out of 10, A+, absolutely awesome. I'm just going to show you Bane here. I'm actually going to show you what's the difference with Bane in the films to this, because in the film everyone was expecting Bane to be tiny, but he's a massive. He's like 6'5" in the film, because Tom Hardy's pretty small. But that's Bane on the films, and that's not Bane on the films. I mean, that's Bane in the comic books and the games. I mean, he's like the size of an elephant on the games and the comic books, but on the film you might think he's smaller, but he physically dominates Batman and mentally dominates Batman. But anyway, that's Bane. But I will be doing a walkthrough of this soon when I can get this working. But ta-ra, see you after. Keep your lips well brushed. Goodbye.